right there. But that's my my helmet. This is my flak vest. They gave us so in case you get shot in the front or the back, it'd stop it.
So what gun is that again? What gun? What gun?
This is an M14.
Oh, M14.
Yeah, the round's about that big. The M16 is a smaller round. It's bigger than a 22. This is a heavier weapon. Yeah, I had to train with a 16. I had to qualify for it. I had to qualify with a 16, a 14, an M79, a bazooka, a log, grenades.
So how old was the little boy in the picture?
How old?
Yes.
You know, I'm not sure. He must when I'm thinking 7. Maybe that was when. Now I'm looking at that picture because I don't look at it every day. When I start looking at it again, he might have been 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking like an 8.
Possibly 9, but maybe it was 7 when his parents got killed. You know, I can't ask him now because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's at. I didn't take notes. We just knew that's what happened because he told us what happened. You know?
Was he crying when you guys left him? Was he sad?
I never saw him cry, but he looks like he's a pretty tough little kid there.
Yeah, he does.
He was glad to be around us. You know, I'm sure he was scared when he was out on his own because he was by himself. We didn't have anybody. You know, there was other people in his village, but like I said, orphans didn't look on orphans very good there in Vietnam, and that's why our veterans here, the Vietnam veterans, started that orphanage for them. You know, they get donations and they take it over for food and blankets and clothes or material to help build. They helped build 2 different orphanages over there since we came back. But look at, we've been there, gone 40-some years, so I gave them a lot of time.
And this was what year? 19.
This is 1968. This is 1969. I got, this is Dak To. I got there in October '68, and we left there like the end of January '69. We got orders to move out. We had to destroy this place, our base camp. I got pictures of that too. They brought in a dozer, tore everything up, and set it on fire. And, you can't leave anything behind. These little suckers. The VC,
Why is that? Why is that?
Because the VC would take anything that they could find that we left behind and make something out of it.
Out of it.
Like our old tires we discarded, they take them and cut them up and make a Ho Chi Minh sandals out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They took Coke, you know, cans of Coke that would come in the cardboard cases. The regular Vietnamese would take those cardboard boxes, flatten them out, and use them for installation in their hooches where they live.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
In the walls, because they didn't have anything.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty smart.
They'd used everything. They didn't throw nothing away. First time I was going through a village, Mama saw in front of me, she lifted her silk outfit and just took a crap right there in the middle of the road.
Oh,
That's it. You don't see it, you don't believe it, man.
Yeah.
So just the everyday thing for them, you know?
Yes.
It just...
So she wouldn't care who was around?
Huh?
She didn't care who was around?
No, that's the way they live. That's normal for them.
That's normal. Oh,
that's why they did it. You know, they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
The only reason we had latrines is because we built them.
Yeah.
You know, we were a little more sanitary. We dig a hole and build a latrine and set it over it.
Yeah.
But eventually that, if you didn't move it, you'd have to build a new one.
Okay.
But we hired regular Vietnamese people. They'd come in every morning. I hate telling you this, but when we built a latrine, I don't think I got a picture of a latrine. We'd put a trap door in the back, and they cut a 50-gallon drum in 2 and slide those in there. Every morning, we hired them. They pull them out and put kerosene in them and set them on fire.
Why?
And burn it.
What?
And that's why kerosene smell, I don't like that smell.
Uh,
Because it reminds me of Vietnam.
yeah.
And most of our equipment was ran by diesel. But that burning smell, just like dead bodies, I don't like the smell of that, and the smell of diesel, because it takes me right back there, man. And that's
How many dead bodies you think you would see or saw back then?
well, I got pictures of them too, but I don't like showing them to people. They lay them out in villages to show. It was to get a message across.
Okay.
If you are an enemy, this is what's going to happen
That's
to
what's
you.
gonna happen.
And it could be,
Like saying, "Don't mess with us." This is.
well, yeah, but the message was, if you see the VC, which is Viet Cong,
Mm-hmm.
they were your friend during the day, but they were your enemy at night. During the day, when they were a friend, they try to find out all the information they could about you, your company, what you did, where you were.
Oh.
They
Just
would come
being
in your
sneaky,
compound
yeah.
and pace off steps. So if they wanted to fire a mortar or a rocket in there, they could get the right angle to get it in there, see?
Oh.
They were slick, they were pretty smart,
Oh.
but you had to stay on your toes.
Yeah.
Uh,
And when did you guys catch that, where they would wanting to get your information to attack later?
or they would get arrested. We had a POW camp there. If it was out in the field, a lot of times they just got shot. But I've been by a couple POW camps we had. They got big signs hanging on the fence. You know, the chain link fence was pretty high. They'd have big signs hanging like "No pictures allowed." You can't, that kind of thing. Yeah, what happened to them? I don't know, because they were in there. I'm on the outside. Military police take care of them once they're there. But anybody out in the field, like I said, they either got shot or they took them prisoner.
And what's this back here?
This is part of a guard post. It's just a roof. We had when we came under. No, that was Phu Thai. In Dak To, when I pulled guard duty, I was on the big bunker. The big bunker, they had big bunkers at certain spots. Like the one I was on was by our gate to come in and out.
Yes.
It was probably 12, 14 feet high, made out of sandbags. But on the top we had a roof like that because we had a 50 caliber machine gun underneath it. And my guard duty was from midnight to 3 a.m. in the morning.
Midnight.
Of course, we changed ships. So, and I had across the street from me, I call it the street, off the dirt road, was a Vietnamese cemetery. They're real superstitious, so that's why you see a lot of this pointed, curly stuff. In
Like
their buildings
decoration,
and
like
stuff.
decorations, or like
Well, it's to ward off spirits.
all spirits.
You know, they're real superstitious.
Did you ever fall in love with a Viennese woman?
No, I didn't get a chance to spend it, but I will tell you, the French Vietnamese were really nice looking, and they wore better silk clothes. But the French women, Vietnamese women, didn't really get along with the original Vietnamese women. So you got to remember, the French was there for years, took their country over. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was French Indochina until the Japanese during World War II came in and kicked them out, took over,
Yeah, they took over.
killed them, whatever, took them prisoner.
Yeah.
The people don't realize how crude and rude the Japanese were during World War II.
No.
So, well, the North Vietnamese wasn't much better, but you know the way they treated our POWs in Hanoi. So
What would they call you? Like a nickname? What's your name?
my name?
Yes, your name.
My name, believe it or not, was Spider
Spider.
because I was so tall.
Yes, you
Everybody had a code name, nickname. The guy in the Como shack, his name was Kilo.
are. Kilo.
the guy I took his place, which was going home, his name was Teddy Bear.
Teddy Bear.
He was a little
Chubby.
I mean, he wasn't fat. He's just a little bigger than the average guy.
Uh-huh.
He was in pretty good shape. You know, things like that. I can't remember them all. I wrote down a lot of the guys' names because I thought I'd try to get a hold of them after I came back, but you can't find these people.
And they won't tell you. They wouldn't tell you where they're from California. From...
I knew where they were from. They'd tell me, but I don't know if I wrote that down. A couple of them did, like Kilo. He was from Texas.
From Texas.
The sergeant in supply, he was from North Carolina. I did write him once or twice, and he ended up working for the Carolina State Highway. He's probably got, if he's still alive, or he might be retired by now. He got worked his way up in a pretty good position. You know, they built the highways for the state.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
Let me get a video of your hat.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? Right here.
Which one?
This one right here. What does that mean?
Well, that's Docto. That's the name of this, where I was here.
Oh, this is the name of
That's
that.
Docto. That's where I wear that bag. That pin, rather.
That pin.
Yeah, that's my dirty old hat. There's Docto, right there. That's how you spell it, Docto.
Oh, okay. It looks like Chinese. Like
D-A-K, yeah, T-O. It's just Vietnam women, and this is my associate women. In Vietnam Veterans America, we have association membership. That's for wives and people that want to belong, but they're not a veteran. So it's association.
Oh,
They have their own group, and they meet the same time we do.
okay.
It's mostly women, but there is men in it too. So they have a budget. They have a national president. It's a big organization. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, they have little pins like this for almost all the villages over there that veterans were in. So that's why you'll see different pins on their hats, or sometimes they'll be on their jacket.
Oh, no, jackets. Are you going to wear your uniform tomorrow?
I might.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a BDUs. It's camouflage. But when I was in Vietnam, everything I had was OD. Most of the BDUs were, like infantry, some infantry, not all of it, like LRPs, which is long range patrols. They'd go out and spend a week or 10 days in the bush.
Hiding?
Yeah, they needed, they had to wear that so they could disguise themselves. You know, like a sniper, he has what they call a ghillie uniform he wears. I don't know if you've seen one that looks like grass hanging all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
That's a ghillie outfit. It's all special training
For all that.
to be a sniper. I mean, you got a special school you got to go to. You got to be almost an expert shot, and you got to have good vision. You're not going to be an expert shot unless you have good vision.
Good vision.
I think I was. They have 3 classes. I was a sharpshooter.
Oh, you're a sharpshooter. Oh, that's interesting.
Right below expert.
And what weapons would you use?
This one.
That one right there?
It's an M14. I said I had to qualify for the 16, the 14, the M79, the bazooka, the log, and the grenades. But what I was issued when I got there was the M14, and I'm glad I got that because, like I was telling you, the M16, you had too many problems with it. It'd get jammed up with mud or dirt or water. Especially if
imagine if you guys were in, attack.
Yeah, if you got in a firefight, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So
you need to be prepared and ready.
My clip, I believe, would carry. Well, the Browns were bigger, obviously, in the M14. And we had what they call bandanas. And there'd be little pockets, so many pockets in a bandana which carry clips of rounds. So you'd want to carry as many as you could, bandanas, because that's the frightening thing. two things I didn't like. I didn't want to get outflanked, and I didn't want to run out of ammo. That's it, you know.
So you had everything in your pockets?
Well, that's what the bandanas are for. You sling them over your shoulder, over your head, and carry it. You know,
Okay.
so like if you're on a mortar team, there's a minimum of 3 guys on a mortar team because somebody's got to carry the bottom plate, the mortar, and the other one's got to carry the mortars, the rounds for it. There may be 4, depending on how many men they can spare.
Yeah.
Because the more rounds you can carry, the better off you are, you know. So it's the same way with any weapon. The same way, the M79, I love them things. They're like an oversized shotgun. But the rounds are about that big around, about that long. It was just like a grenade, but it was more like a shotgun. The barrels are real short, and they were that big around because it had to take that shell. And it was only about that long. You wouldn't aim at like you do a regular weapon, like something like that. You had to learn how to shoot it because you'd lob it in, like a grenade.
Okay.
They're really effective. They had like 4 different rounds, you know, like white phosphorus, and then they had a regular round, and then they had one that's had the split flechettas in it. I don't know. They're little blades, like knife points. So when it blew up, it threw these knife blades out all over the place. There's all kinds of different things you need to know.
Yeah.
Especially if that's what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. And it just...
Was there ever a time where you almost got shot or killed? Or really, really hurt?
Well, here in Docto, you can't see it here because I think this is the front side. The back side of our compound, there's a big valley down there. And then upside the other side is called Hill 875. And that's where the 173rd got overran in November of 1967, right before I got there. Very few guys survived that. And they came in there and killed them all, mutilated them, pissed us off. That's why they sent in the 4th Infantry. The 4th Infantry, we supported them, but we minesweepers, they were like over here at the air base at Docto. They took over, and on the downside of it, Hill 875 was a Ho Chi Minh Trail, which came down from, that went through Laos and Cambodia, and came down from North Vietnam where they bring down weapons and rockets and military personnel. Companies, they'd ride bicycles down there, just carrying anything they could. They'd bring it down to the south. So the B-52s would bomb that a lot. They'd bomb out here, that valley I was talking about right here. The B-52s, when we suspected company out there, personnel, they would come in and bomb it. They would carpet bomb it. And that's like 30 miles from where we were. And the ground, our ground right there would shake like this because they'd carpet bomb it, the B-52s. Bombs would come out, you know, they were only like that far apart.
Kind of like an earthquake.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, out there.
And after that, what do you guys do? Just...
Sometimes they'd send out patrols to see if they find anything. Sometimes they didn't, it just depended. Sometimes it depended on who was in charge at the time when it took place. You know, we had at least 3 or 4 officers in my company, but some of them weren't there all the time. They were either out in the field or maybe they'd be on a convoy. See, our company, we're the ones that did the convoys from Docto to Pleiku. We'd go down and pick up supplies like food, ammo, personnel, mail, and when payday come along, they'd pick up the pay and bring it back up. That's why we have our lead truck in our convoy had a quad 50 on it. That's a 1.5 truck with 4 50 caliber machine guns on it, in case we got attacked along the way. It wasn't just that one truck. It was a convoy. going down, maybe they'd pick up some water. We had these big tanks, water tanks that pull water out of the rivers and stuff. And I would say that's probably where, well, you'd either drink it or you'd take a shower in it or get sprayed on you. That's what my heart problem is from Agent Orange. So, yeah, I got a lot of damage in my heart from that. So, of course, I had to fight him when I filed my claim. That took 4.5 years in court.
Oh, no.
But I wasn't going to give up.
And how was it?
Well, I finally won.
Oh, that's good.
But all they want to do is deny, and you got to keep fighting. You keep filing an appeal. I had to hire, and eventually, I got up to 50%, and then I found this attorney back in Illinois, which was a Vietnam vet. So I hired him, and he took it over from there for me in Washington, so I wouldn't have to go back there. And that took 2 years right there. He called me one Sunday afternoon about 2 o'clock and said, I got a surprise for you. And I said, what's that? He said, you won your case. I said, I did? I said, well, I won't believe it until I get it in writing and I receive it in the mail. So about maybe a week later, I got it in the mail.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
Because they told him first, because he was my attorney,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is part 1.
There's a lot of stuff involved in it.
Yes.
And you just don't go in and put a uniform. You gotta, you know, when you first go in, you're going to classes. They're teaching you stuff. Just like when I had the mine sweep, I had to stay an extra week in Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, which I didn't know I had until they gave us orders. I was there to remember I was telling you about how to build floating bridges and blow up bridges and stuff? I was there to do that, which I did. But towards the end, they said, well, you got to stay here another week because we're going to show you how to look for mines.
Oh, that's interesting. And what's the interesting thing that you have found? That the most shocking or surprising thing that you have found?
Well, I found that I really enjoyed the military after I got in it and saw what was going on and what it does for our country. It's there to protect us.
Yes.
There's people in this world that want to kill you and me, and they can't comprehend that. That's why we have terrorists. What do you think they're coming here for? Yeah. Anyway, one thing I learned when I went to Vietnam, like I was telling you, how these people live. It's primitive. Of course, they've improved a lot since we were there. You know, like I said, the trails we were on, I've heard that's all been paved. They're more modern now. They're not at war. When we left, the North Vietnam took over the South, so there's no division. It's all one. It's communists. And it's like that everywhere where there's communists. Russia, China. I see things, if you only knew how China treat their people. See, that's one reason why we try to help these people for freedom and democracy, you know. But we're protecting ourselves, and that's why we have to have a strong military.
Yeah.
People don't get it. We're not out here for war. We have to have a strong military to protect our country.
Yes. You're right.
It's, you know, and if, like you're taking time to find out about it.
Yes.
Most of the people that are yelling and screaming and protesting and yakking yada here, they don't know what they're talking about. You know, I took 2 years of my life to do this. Now, see, I was drafted. I strongly believe in the draft. You get a lot of these young yahoos off the street, teach them some respect about themselves and other people, about this country, what the country's all about. And it's not about racism. That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And maybe they'd grow up, put some big boy pants on, you know?
How old were you right here in this picture?
My nephew was in the Marines for 5 years. My dad was in the Navy for World War II. My uncle was in the Navy, World War II. He was a pilot. My brother was in the Marines. These people know what it's all about.
Oh, God. How old were you in this picture, Jhon?
Huh?
How old were you in this picture? How old?
Oh, I was 21. Yeah, I was 20 when I got my draft papers in the mail from President Nixon. April 29th, 1968. I can't forget that date. I wish I still had that letter, and that'd have been a collector's item, signed by him. Anyway, I reported in Oakland and was sworn in 5 days after I turned 21. My high school buddy, Roger Vanover. We went to school together. We got drafted together.
What high
we went
school?
to Oakland together.
Which one? What school?
William C. Overfeld in San Jose. I went to James Lick where they were building our high school. We were the first class in a brand new high school. William C. Overfeld. It's on the east side, just east of Bayshore, off of Story Road. It's not too far from Allen Rock Park, White Road. You know, it's out there. This place is totally changed. I couldn't go back there to live. I came down here because I was going through a divorce, and that's the one my high school. Anyway, I came down here because my brother lived in Porterville, and I couldn't go back to. And San Jose was getting too big for me. I didn't like that. Too many people. It's worse now, man. There's probably 1 million people up there now in San Jose.
Bet. Yeah. So
no,
you liked it better over here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move from California. I want to sell everything I own. I'm the only one in my family still living here. Everybody's left. They're in Nevada, Texas, and Pennsylvania. I'm probably going to no, my older brother, he's in Oregon.
Oh, he's in Oregon.
I'll probably go to Nevada because Nevada, there's no income tax over there.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
See, and my sister and brother-in-law, he was a park ranger, retired. She retired from the IRS in Fresno. So that's why they moved to Nevada, so they wouldn't have to pay income tax. California, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse before it does get better.
Yeah, true.
So I don't want to be the last one here because everybody's so far away now.
Yeah.
See, I grew up in San Jose. Well, I was born in Ohio.
In Ohio.
My parents came out. We came out here in 1960. My brother, I told you, was already out here. He came out here in '58 when he graduated from Ohio State Business College. And we came out in '59, or maybe it was early '60, to see him and kind of look out the territory. They couldn't take the cold weather anymore, so we moved out here. We went to Southern California to see him when we got here, and then we went up to San Jose because they had some friends that lived in San Jose. We lived with them for a while till they found a house to buy, and I've been there ever since. Well, until I came down here. When I come back from the Army, I moved down here because he lived in Porterville, and I've been here ever since. And then he left, moved to Oregon. I stayed here, but I'm going to leave when I get.
Sell everything.
Yeah. What my lifelong, see, remember I told you I was a contractor?
Yeah.
For 22 and a half years here. My lifelong dream is to build a brand new home. That's what I was in construction.
Yeah.
I want to sell everything here. I wouldn't build anything new in California now.
No.
The codes and the crap they've crammed down your throat it's just wrong.
Yeah.
That's why I want to leave the state, and I'd probably pick Nevada.
Nevada.
It could be another, but right now it's probably Nevada.
Nevada. Not bad.
I like to start prospecting again. My brother and I used to prospect all the time in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. He had a gold mine in the Death Valley, and the government came in and took it away from him.
Oh, wow.
They didn't want nobody owning anything, a civilian. And he met a guy up in Oregon that went through the same thing that he did. He said, I bet you we can get your gold mine back, because I had the same problem. He got some attorneys and fought him and got it back. But the problem with my brother, when he lived in Porterville, it took 12 hours from here to drive to his mine out in Death Valley. And he's in Oregon now, and it's just too far to go to commute. So he kind of gave up on that. I mean, he wished he'd, he had to. And I know why the government wanted it back. He had the only rock cabin out there built by the government in the 1800s, which was an assay office at the time. That was on his claim. Mm-hmm. It was neat. Yeah, I bet you the walls were like that thick out of big rock boulders.
Uh-huh.
It had a wooden door on it, and I bet you that wood was that thick. Big chunk out of a tree they'd cut up. It was pretty neat. It had one window in it, and when you look out the window, you could look out over the valley.
Oh, sounds nice.
Yeah, a couple miles from there south was where, and I know who it is. Remember the guy that killed Sharon Tate, the actress, in 1969? He was in prison over here and he finally died. Had a big tattoo on his forehead. What the heck's his name? He had all these women that were, he had them brainwashed, man. They were full of crap.
I don't.
Well,
we'll get that one on the second part when you remember.
Anyway, that's where they were hiding, out there in the southern end of Death Valley.
Him and all his wives?
All the women, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and when they put him in prison over here, which they should have killed him, put him on death row. Well, he was, but they didn't kill him because you know how California is. They don't want to kill people that get the death sentence. Uh-huh. So he stayed over here. But 3 of those women that was with him at the time, they moved over there so they'd be close by him. Talk about something that was wrong up here.
Wow.
The other ones went to prison.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, you must have heard of that. She was an actress.
Uh-huh.
They broke in her house and they murdered her.
I think
Sharon Tate was her name.
Sharon Tate. I'm going to have to...
You can check it out.
I will.
You can go online.
I will.
Google her name and that'll tell you.
Sharon Tate. I will.
Well, I got to go. I got stuff I
All right,
Jhon.
Do. Well, say your name and your last name. That way they can know who you are.
Oh, man. Look at that. I look real old there. It's Jhon Reidiel. That's Reidel.
Okay. And the year that you...
68 and 69.
1968 and 1969. All right.
Yeah,
Salute.
I just can't believe that time flies. I'm 74 now.
Well, whoever wants to touch bases.
It's hard to believe how much time. When I was younger, you can see me there.
Oh yeah, right here.
That's 21. It's so if they're saying like you're nice and young.
Yes.
Something you want to do it now.
All right, I will.
Because time goes by so fast.
It does.
I've lost a lot of guys that, look at the World War II vets. They're just dropping like flies every day. Mm-hmm. These guys are starting to do that too.
Oh yeah.